people who are interested and dedicated to resolve trauma in themselves and in this world. And that's the good news. Maybe have you asked yourself, what actually helps to resolve trauma at the core so it can unravel and the energy is set free, that we can fully live who we are and create a world that is far more compassionate and connected. I mean, can you imagine what an energy can be unleashed when that frozenness of trauma is resolved? And what actually is the key component to help this? I've found some crucial pieces in my work, since 30 years as a trauma therapist, psychologist, and spiritual teacher. I've worked internationally with all sorts of cultures. And I've also learned many methods. But as you know, that no medicine befits all. That's one thing. And no method can replace something absolutely essential. And this essential piece I want to speak upon and maybe inspire you, because you can already apply it right away. If we give that more attention, then the method is secondary, and that piece is the number one, the connectedness, the relational piece. So, if you take the example of a child imagine living in Israel or in Afghanistan, in a place, or in the Congo. We have a children's home in the Congo, and their bombs are falling. Yeah. Now imagine that child running outside, seeing the bombs fall, their houses around them crashing, their friends dying, and maybe their family. That child has a trauma. And when that child has a parent, an uncle, a grandmother, or even a dear friend who comes running and holds the child and allows this child to shake through the shock in the body, to cry, to be there. In that moment, the trauma resolves right there, and it doesn't fester in the body, in the psyche, and doesn't drive the child later crazy. But you see, there is a key component, and that is the most crucial element. It's the relational piece. Now take the same child in a war zone, and there is no one to help this child, this girl or this sweet boy, to process the horror she just has witnessed. And not just witnessed, experienced. Maybe her house crashed, the parents died, the friends, there's no more friends, and she stands all alone in that, in that field where the houses are broken, and there's this, she freezes, or he freezes, or runs and hides somehow where it seems to be safe, under a pile of broken, stuff. Or she starts screaming and getting angry. It doesn't matter, but what is missing right there is someone there. And now for her or for him, that trauma stays. And so, of course, in due time, this will manifest, as symptoms in the body, as symptoms in the emotional field, in the mental, in the spiritual. There's a split because this trauma could never be processed. It is stuck. So when later, maybe, some sort of grace, this grown person, and this could be you may not have been in a war zone, but maybe your childhood was a war zone, received some method. Somebody is trying to fix that person with a certain so-called trauma method. Okay. If the most important piece, what do you think the most important piece is not the method. The most important piece is that there is a person who meets this trauma, this little one who's stuck in the trauma, right where she or he is. This is like bringing the most important missing element into the field. And that means like a person who can reach through, who can sit with you and say, there, here I am. I sit, I hold your hand whilst you go through this. I see your pain. I meet you there. And no matter, I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to be with you, to love you through, to be present with you, with your experience. In that moment, the child that was stuck in that time receives what he or she needed when the horror was unfolding. And when that medicine and that connection is made, first then any method can be applied. But without that, a method is just a thing that again often feels for people, oh, there's something wrong with me. I gotta fix this. And that can actually backfire. So it's very crucial that the element of relationship and connectedness is the foundation for any trauma healing to happen. And when that connection is made, everything is possible and everything can unfold so much more easy and lead to resolution, lead to liberation. Because then the person or you have the safety in the relationship to open up, to let that place be touched and healed and met. So that the aloneness that comes from having this trauma inside, it's like when that is met, when you met in your aloneness, when you met in your terror, when you met in your pain, that's the medicine that allows everything to be healed, and it allows any method to take hold And that because you're not an object, you are a human being, and therefore something in you responds to that and gets liberated. So I hope this is useful for you and for your path, whether you're helping others or whether you're working on your own trauma. Remember, the most important is the connectedness and the relational piece. And of course, for that, it needs presence and love. And there's many things as well. But without getting this too overwhelming, keep it simple. Meet from the heart. And if you want to learn more, I offer, not only spiritual retreats, but also professional trainings that work with the spiritual awakening as well as the trauma healing and how to guide others through that. Because right now, I think we need it more than ever. And with that, we help in the great turning in this world. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this.